Yes, always backend system. Yeah, for SAP systems. For SAP, for non-SAP anyway, based on the connector group, portal connector, automatically we will use a skip option. So the source connector after integrating portal system. So as soon as you select the portal, then we don't have any option backend validation. So we must use skip only for portal. But for any SAP systems, I would recommend backend system. Don't use skip until like we have a plan to provision and we need to data should be ready and we have a well advanced information that changes role transports will move to a particular time. In this case, you can use skip option, but that is also too risky because yesterday we have observed the role is not in backend system and even though it is imported into the GRC system. Yeah, still same process. Even even within GRC also, any for any risks, then the same practice we need to run the sync job. Then automatically data will be populated in the GRC RLCon tables. Then if we need to provision for ARM perspective to available in the cup request, then we must import role into the GRC system. And this is applicable for only without BRM configuration, the process role imports. Yeah, otherwise, if it is a BRM, then we will initiate the role. We saw the methodologies, right? We will import the role from, sorry, we will initiate the role from uh, GRC system and automatically that screen will integrate, GRC production system will integrate to backend PFCG development system and will update the authorizations, then will complete the role methodology steps. That time, since we are initiated the role from GRC production system, we don't require for role import. Now we are not using BRM, but we need these role master data information to provision to the users. For this, we must go to role imports. Okay, yesterday we have seen import the derived roles, and this is also like a job sequence. We must follow the sequence of steps. Like first single roles, then derived roles, then composite roles. So like this, we will follow the sequence. Even if in the same template also, we need to prepare all the data in an order. Like this is a single role. So this is a derived role. So I will use the same template because of dependency, it won't allow. It will directly will get the error that role does not exist in the system. So always the second entry we must check all the entries which are related to the first entry. Like is there any systems or associated roles? Since it is a single role, we must check how many systems are associated. So what are the line items? This particular, as of now, we required the role information for S4 HANA system. We don't require these two systems. So we can proceed with, during the role inputs, we can proceed and we will remove these two entries. There is no harm. One line item is fine. But in case whatever the role which needs to be provisioned for multiple systems, like this role needs to be provisioned to all the three systems, then we must follow the three line items in the column AE on the system. Then we need to maintain the provisioning information. Yes, yes. If we don't want to provision, then even we can maintain no. This strategy also we can follow. But for a best practice, make sure that you need to check the right side entries. The system are associated. Probably you may observe this issue when you are preparing. You should be very cautious when you are proposing composite roles, because it has a multiple associated roles. Suppose 10 line items. After 10 line, you can skip 10 line items. Then you can prepare the second role. So since we need to, I will tell you. See, for your purpose only. So this is a composite role, okay, and this is also composite role. But the was only system, based on the system it was divided. See how we have prepared the composite role file. We will always use the gap between the two line items. That depends upon the number of associated roles and systems. Actually, this is extracted information. This one. So since systems are 3, but associated roles are 4, so our next line item would be start from here. Line item 6. I'm just giving example. This is composite role 1. Suppose if it is only 3 line items, then our next line item entry would be start from, because systems and associated roles are same line item. So we have a 3. Like this we will propagate. That's answer your question, Pratap. Sarji, you got it? That's what I'm saying. If you are using backend system, it will validate. If you are using skip option, it won't validate. It will import the role into GRC system. Later, whenever you are trying to import the derived role, but the system assume that this is not derived role, the definition of the role is not correct. So you must import always SIN for this role. No, that is not the question. Master role has to be included. Okay. His question is, suppose by mistake the role type I will maintain single. Okay. If I would import, generally for backend option, it will validate and it won't allow based on the definition. But sometimes to import mass files, generally most of the companies without proper KT or something in a hurry, they will use skip option. This time role will be created, even though it is a derived role will be created single role. Yesterday we have observed few tables, the role ID will be generated for each role. Okay, that role ID always check the information and it will be stored multiple tables. So in this case, you cannot change backend system role, right? The role name you cannot delete. So GRC, whatever the request which are associated to this role, you need to archive. And we discussed there is a parameter 3009, I guess, role removed from the access control repository. Yes, only front end. Then you can remove that role from GRC. You need to re-import the role into GRC. Any questions? Okay. Um, Only one master role, 10 derived roles, you were saying, right? Yeah, each line item you need to prepare, but master role column, you need to maintain only the master role name. Yeah, column. Derived role is this one. Role type should be DRD. So for derived roles, so for derived roles, you have to be careful on only two areas. One is a role type. Second one is we must maintain the master role. But another condition is this role should be imported before, or at least the first line item should be import single role. Then we will prepare the second line item second, we will prepare the derived role at least because of dependency. Okay. Suppose this is the master role. Okay. This master role should be imported before importing the derived roles. Okay. You can prepare the first line for this role. I have removed, did I remove? So we need to prepare the file for master role in the same file at least. Yes. Yes. Either this approach, or you can import separate file for single roles, then you can prepare separate files for derived roles. Ideally, you need to import the dependency role first. No, single derived and composite. Another way, first single roles or master roles, then then derived, then composite, then business. So this is like this. We need to import because this derived role needs master data information, the parent information. The parent should be imported into the GRC. Either you can prepare a separate file, or at least you can prepare the line item in the before entry. Got it, Pratap? Okay. Yeah, there is no information required. Yeah, definitely you need to maintain column T for each role. See, the column T is for master role information. Here the role name, Z role 1, Z role 2, derived role 2. Then the same master role you need to maintain in the column T. Role only first line item entry to import into the GRC system. But since this role dependency, we need to maintain for each derived role, we need to maintain parent information. Same in the PFCG description tab. Every time we need to maintain what is the parent role name, right, in the description tab for each role. Similarly, for GRC, to understand GRC system, the definition of derived role, we must maintain column T, parent information. Since I have already imported this, that depends. Since I am using business process and sub process is same, so and project release, yeah, other attributes. Because I have sub process only security I have maintained, so that is the reason I am using. So each business process, see, for a practice, uh, based on the role name, the business process and sub process may vary, and project release, owner. Generally, it will varies role to role. Yes, exactly. Yes. No, see, yeah. So I'm selecting backend system. File on desktop, backend system, SAP, the landscape name, don't require since the role is new. So S4 HANA system, next, Yeah. Hmm. No, no, no. Skip option is it won't validate. It won't validate whether the derived role is exist or not in the system. It won't skip. The validation part it will skip. No, no. User input. Yeah, user input is different. User input manually we need to enter the business process role owner and everything because we are not preparing file, right? Yeah, same information. Yes, yes. Yeah, user input means everything user input, but whatever the mandatory which is required, so those information only it will pick up. But other informations, very minimal information we can say. Yes, yes, yep. And it is fine with only one role basically, but it is flexible for mass upload. So roles reported. So in the role maintenance, we can check the latest role. It would come. Yeah, always the role on the top of it. Whatever the latest information which are downloaded, sorry, which are imported into the GRC system, it should come on the top of it in the role maintenance. So where you can check more details. Owners, master role. So here is a provisioning system and provisioning. The role exists. If we are not finding this, we must run the sync job. But anyway, as a best practice, whenever you are importing the roles, you must schedule the sync job. I have changed the methodology. The derived role information should be here, but here the master role name we will be visible here. Actually, that is I have changed the methodology. Might be that is the reason it is not visible. So this is the derived role, this is my master role. And we need to check always in case of any role which information is required, then role should exist as provisioning and production status. And if you want to check the history, when it was imported, everything and what details it was there. So since yesterday run the authorization sync, since it is a standard pre-codes, everything information will be updated here. Yes, authorization sync. Also we can check change type, import, insert, who has imported, when it was imported, time stamp. This would help. The change history will help. Sometimes you may get incidents that a composite role has a multiple roles, suppose a 5 roles. The latest information, like it may cross manager and role owner, it is waiting for um, approval pending with S4D. That time, in case the change configuration, okay, we have set in the MSMP, then probably the role definition is not, and it will assign only 4 roles, the latest information before provisioning. So that time they will raise the question. Actually, it was supposed to be 5 role, like some transaction code authorization was missing. So we need to make sure that we will check the history, the recent imported, and what authorizations, what roles it was associated. That we can check in the composite role definition. Based on that, probably we'll inform to the user that composite role definition was changed. We'll inform to business. So change history will help mostly to check the latest information, latest modification on the particular role. Generally for business roles and composite roles, it would help. So any questions on derived role? Similarly, for composite roles, the definition would be role type should be com and column X. We need to maintain associated roles. There is no change. Mhm. So you want me to import all the roles? You can import. Yeah, this is a composite role. Okay. Anyway, we are setting backend validation. Right? This role I was not created, so definitely it will give error. Let me. I will add. I have added single role. So on a line item, you can check just hiding. So for single roles, so description, business process, sub process, project release, role status, then role owner, then system. For composite role, generally description, business process, sub process, project release, role status, role owner, then column X, associated roles, methodology status, and system information. And this role, sorry, sorry, no, it is mandatory field. It will throw error. See, if it is a mandatory information, definitely it will show the data. Okay. I'm importing derived role. I think it's something. We have multiple owners. Owner or whole owner. Let me check quickly. That will also be error. Okay, here is the master data information. So we will get a couple of errors. Especially this role will not be there. It will throw the errors. And, so if it is um, duplicate entries, okay, it will throw error, but it won't give any message. You can test that as well. So I have a duplicate entries, and I'm doing backend system validation. So the last row does not exist, and we are changing. Um, we want to import composite. So file on desktop, backend system, SAP. I'm selecting overwrite as because some of the roles are I'm re-importing. Otherwise, it will throw the message. Roles are existing. You can preview all the roles. Next. So this role is success. This role is success. And the composite role, the associated single role does not exist. So I have not imported, and this composite role does not exist in the backend system. So basically, the associated roles are not exist. Why the single role? Oh, I have not imported role key. Yes. Ideally, it should show another error. In case of any duplicate entries, it will just say error. It won't give you any information. We are not getting. Mhm, mhm, mm, mm. The backend systems, this role does not exist. First of all, so I'm in the backend system. This role I have not created. Okay, that is the reason it is saying role does not exist. No, no, no. We are importing now. We are feeding the values. S4 HANA I have selected in the landscape. Okay. Here I am selecting the system, RFC connection. So this particular system, the role does not exist. That is what the message. No, no, no. Source system. It won't display source system here, but um, we are feeding the values, right? We are selecting the input. So assume that, yeah, it won't show. Yes, based on input, it will throw output. And second one, this particular landscape, the associated technical roles were not imported. Yeah, repository. It's a kind of a dependency. The associated technical role should import first, then yeah. And same. Suppose if the roles are imported, then if one of the role we removed, suppose the associated role, right? Mm-hmm. No, no, it's not like that. First, it will validate whether the role is exist or not. That is what we have selected backend system. The source system, the authorization source, it will verify whether the system is exist or not. Later, it will check the associated roles, the dependencies. What is your question? The same thing, right? No, 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 no. The sync job is not dependent. After sync job, the role exists. Yes, is different in the provisioning button. That is different. This is different. This is just validate whether the role is exist or not. After importing the role, whether this data is not updated in the properties. then you need to run the sync job. Yeah, first is agent underscore define. Second is grc rl count table. Okay. Actually, ideally, you should get one more error, but uh, I'm got surprised. The single role, right? If it is a multiple entries, definitely it would give the reason. One would be success. Second one is error. It will give the empty line. Empty line means that whatever the error, and it is not giving this much details. Like reason is empty. All are duplicate entries. So any questions on composite role? I should prepare the file because hmm, this file, yeah. No, sir, for everything. So we need to import the roles, right? Okay, I'm quickly importing this file because I need composite role for the business file. First line item. Okay, no issue. Three roles are there. Now again, so I have imported the single roles. Rest of the other roles already exist. So we will re-import the same file. It is saying that there are some roles are exist, so we need to select this option. Next, okay. Composite role success. That screen I have closed. So if any role open, that is locked and it will throw error. And role does not exist. The same. And my composite role is success. So composite role is there. Single role. Okay. I forgot to mention one thing. So during the role imports, we got some errors, right? I will import the same file. We got couple of errors, but we don't have a filter option. So we have suggested to SAP, but till now SAP was not taking care. So since there are a couple of errors, so we need to fix. So right now it is only 4 rows. Generally, so if we set filter, we don't have export option here available to download the rules. We'll check and fix one by one. This screen probably it may wait for another 5 minutes or 10 minutes if we are using. After that, you will get the timeout error. So you need to, before that, you need to capture the screenshots and you have to make sure that each role, since these 3 roles are already imported, so you need to select overwrite option and this role does not exist. Some other role, any other issues. So make sure that you have to capture the screenshots first. You don't have an export option. Okay, make sure you have to capture the screenshot. Right now it is 4 rows, there is no issue, but while working in the customer environment, definitely you need to import more than 100,000 roles. So that time, in case of errors, you need to fix. We don't have any export option. So any questions on composite role? Single derived composite. Any questions? For user input skip option, yesterday we were not able to input, but uh, file on desktop, it will import skip option. So I was revalidated that one. So yesterday we need to confirm. So any questions? No, there is no change. See, even for business roles also same. That is the reason we'll get this option from download the template in the first screen. Yeah. Since it is a bit difficult to maintain, so I will just copy in the Excel for preparation. That's it. Jirac roll, Jirac roll, Jirac roll, Jirac roll. Yeah. No, no. Only role ID and few other information. Role ID description, few. Role sensitivity as a separate field. GRSC role sensitivity. That there are, yeah. If it is a business process, GRAC business process. If it is a sub process, then the table might be different. And you need to check provisioning level. Then GRAC RLCon Pro, RLCon valve. So you need to check role exist and provisioning allowed, allow auto provisioning. So that the table is different and role mapping table is different. Company code GRAC company. So it will change the attributes, but only the role master and derived role combination, composite and single role information, or only single role information, it will be GRAC role. And role approver and content approver, you may find GRAC APPR approver table. Which one? No. This is a web Pro, na? Web Pro application. So you need to take this program from here, technical help. This is a web application. So probably you need to discuss with a developer. Yeah, this is a web Pro application. Yeah, you just right click on the particular screen, technical help, then automatically you will get the application component. No. See, since first time it will be, but uh, yeah, it will. You need to make sure that suppose the sequence, if you are working on single role file, then you can validate. What we will do, as soon as we receive single derived composite, we will validate whatever the associated role information in the column X, whether all the single roles will do the VLOOKUP for single role file. Similarly, for the master roles, we'll check the column T, whether all the master roles and associated single roles are exist in the single role file. Then derived roles, all the derived roles in case of any composite roles, associated roles, like single role and composite role, probably combinations, right? So we'll validate first associate information, then we'll check the role attributes, business process, sub process, project release, whether these are exist in the GR6 Pro configuration. Like business, any new business process needs to be maintained, we will maintain. We'll take the firefighter ID and we'll maintain in the Pro. And role owner information, alternate role owner information. In case these role owners are not exist in the system, then we will initiate the GRC request for role approver role and maintain access owners in the NWBC, like whatever the arrangements, owner, controller, mitigation owner, like all the approvers will submit the request for with respective role, then we'll maintain in the access owners, then we'll import the roles. Otherwise, it will throw an error. Also, we'll make sure that RFC, whatever the RFC we are importing, make sure that this RFC connection will check. Yes. In case sometimes systems they will maintain S4H only, so we are not sure, right? So basically, backend system team, mm, they will maintain S4H and the files. As a GRC team, before importing the role, we need to make sure that what is the RFC connection, was configured in the Spro. We'll replace that and we'll take the approval from the business owner. Like this, we'll perform the validation. We don't, yes. So associated roles, RFC, then role attributes, owners, everything we will check, then we will import. That is a process. Otherwise, you will keep on getting error. Suppose this line item, okay, everything okay, it will import. This line item, probably roll owner is not there, then it will roll owner. Or project release information, or business process, sub process is not configured. So like this, it will throw one by one. Instead of that, we'll make a practice. We'll check all the values in the role import file. Make sure that everything is fine. Then it will. It's just a matter of 1 or 2 minutes to import the roles. Okay. If there is no further questions, we'll move to business role. So this is completely logical concept, but it is a very interesting. But if you face any issue, then you need to basically you will get a lot of issues with the business role because it is associated with multiple landscape. We need to do more investigation, but the concept is very interesting. Okay, business roles generally for any job position or any particular task based roles to create it to a position or associated. Suppose say example security. In our landscape, MDG, CRM, GRC, ECC, any portal. Suppose say 4 or 5 systems. User has each system wise and he needs to submit the request. And also the authorizations may vary from system to system. To avoid those situations, to avoid inconsistency issues, SAP has developed a business role concept irrespective of landscape. Ideally, this is earlier it was with IDM, identity management. Later, the same flavors will take into GRC system. So you can create a security consultant one business role in the GRC and you can map all the security consultant composite roles or single roles, any derived roles, anything. You can map to business role that position, put the file into GRC system. Then by submitting only one request, it will be provisioned to across all the landscape or all the associated systems. Also, we have a feasible. We can create business roles for systems specific or across the systems. And we will perform risk analysis cross function, not only logical. Even we can perform risk analysis against cross systems. That is also one of the advantage for business. Suppose they are using ECC and SRM system for purchase requisition, purchase approval, purchase order. So they can check at business role level risk analysis whether it is conflicting or not. Like this, the rule set will be designed and make sure that the whatever the access which are assigning to users, that based on the job responsibilities. That also makes risk free and very easier for the selection. They select the instead of two technical roles and submitting the request. Sometimes there might be a transaction issue. User submits only one system, but he needs access for both systems. So instead of to avoid a transaction issues as well. Whatever the job responsibilities, will design the complete position based business roles. As soon as submitted, automatically they will get the access. But the complete definition and the repository, all the details in the GRC system only for business role prospect. Everything will be in the GRC. Only the technical roles, whatever the backend system roles information, it will be assigned to users or provisioned to users in the backend system. But in case of you want to troubleshoot any issues or you want to do any analysis, everything you need to perform in the GRC system only. And also it is very simple compared to same composite role, single role, derived role. Similarly, we need to prepare one role template and we'll import the roles into GRC system. We'll stop here. Any questions on the business role concept? Hello. Associated role. Yes. Same. Same. But the option is business role. Nothing. I'll come to that in a minute. There are some prerequisites for that. I'll come to the role import. And business role is irrespective of a system. That is very, very important. Okay. For prerequisites. Okay. For a business role perspective, there are there are some other parameters for business role selection and everything, but mainly two parameters, configuration parameters. One is 4016. Like if we are initiated business role from GRC system, ideally you need to perform, if you want to perform the risk analysis, this process should be approved by owner and ideally it should be complete status. I will show in the system. Yeah, suppose the current phase for any role, we discussed role methodology. Only for business roles, the complete status, ideally to perform the risk analysis, it should be complete phase. The phase should be complete status. That is what here mentioned. The value should be no by default, but we need to make sure that consider yes, because it will give you perfect results if it is yes by considering business role for ad hoc risk analysis. Because we will submit the GRC request for business role. If the status is initial, probably the risk analysis results will not reflect properly. So that is the reason, make sure that it should be complete. And the second one, delete this parameter set to no. Actually, I have to capture the screenshot wrongly, but this parameter should be no. 4011. Delete the technical roles if it is a part of a business role. Meaning, whatever the associated composite roles or single roles or derived roles, generally we will submit the request, GRC request, to remove the roles, like any single role or composite role. As soon as we submit the request for change request, we'll select the remove action, it will automatically remove. But it will breaks the parent and child relationship for a business role. So this composite role has 4 associated roles. Similarly, this business role is also same concept. So one of the role you removed manually. Ideally, the business to single role relationship will be broken. So it will create inconsistency. So to avoid those situations, we will maintain this parameter as no. So that as soon as we submit the request for singular composite roles, it will populate the message that role cannot be deleted if it is a part of business role. You will get the message while submitting the request. So these two are mandatory steps, configuration parameters in terms of business role. Mhm. That means you are allowing the role to remove. So actually this parameter should no. I have captured wrong screenshot. I don't want to misguide you. Actually it should be no. Then it will not allow the technical roles in the target system. Okay, if it is yes, then you are allowing to submit the request for individual associated roles like composite of single roles. Okay, ideally we want to make sure that no, we should not delete the technical role level, because we are submitting the role request at business role level. If we are removing the roles at single role level, then automatically the relation between the business to associated roles will be broken, right? Then it will create inconsistencies in the system. So to avoid that situation, we will always make sure that this parameter is no. We don't want to delete the roles. No, it is not user ID. It is stopping the relationship between the business to composite roles. You can say technical roles. No, 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 no. Just a relationship between the business to associated roles. Yes. Yeah, whatever the role removal, delete role removal, that is P009 parameter, not this one. And this parameter, these two parameters are applicable only if you are implementing business role. Okay. Now we can say business role, business role management. Now earlier it is a role management. Now we are in business role management actually. Okay. So this is a pre-step for configuration parameter perspective, and for a configuration pre-steps perspective, we saw there is a defined methodology like a definition, authorization data, derived roles, right? So in the definition, we need to select and make active provisioning button. Then we need only provisioning button like this one, and definition and provisioning button. Only these two stages are fine because we don't require additional authorizations. Like this is a single role level. Since we are not using BRM concept, we don't require maintain authorization, derived roles, analysis, request for approval, generating role. All these steps are if in case we are initiating role from BRM concept. But right now we are not BRM fully used. We are just using for the role import purpose. We just need to activate action, and when we are defining the methodology, so ideally definition and provisioning. This provisioning button plays a key role in our landscape in case of business role. So we just need to activate, then methodology for business role perspective, we just need to role management. Role management, define methodology and process steps. So yeah, okay. Navigation. I'll make navigation. Okay. I'll update the navigation for this. Yeah. Okay. Now a small concept. Require. Okay. We are creating a business rules for multiple systems, and it is provisioning now. So we are enabling provisioning. Okay. Now this business role has three systems. The business role has three systems. Now, if you want to remove one of the system, and if you want to remove one of the system, then we need to The business role definition consists of two roles only. We will remove. But earlier, this role was provisioned, right? Earlier, the business role was provisioned to users and it has three roles. Now, we removed one of the role and the business role definition has two roles. To adjust the existing user, we need enable provisioning button. Are you getting me? Or do we need more information? Three roles. Yes. In case of any role, like a business definition was changed, adding any role or removing any one of the role. Okay. Adding or removing any one of the role, like a change in the business role definition. So we need to make sure that the data should be consistent, right? For thus, the provisioning button phase will play a major role. Okay. Yes. Yes. We need to change the definition. We need to change the definition. First part, right? If we are removing or adding anything, there is a change in the definition of the business rule, right? Okay, we will remove this role and we will re-import the business role definition into GRC system. That is the first part, right? But what happens to the existing users? So it should be adjusted, right? It should be adjusted. Whatever the additional role which was removed or system was removed. So ideally, this needs to be adjusted from the user buffer as well, right? For that, so I have imported one business rule. So the provisioning button, there is a update assignment. Okay. If you click, automatically the user buffer will be adjusted. Similar like user comparison, complete comparison in the normal ECC system. As soon as we are assigning new role, automatically the user button should be red, right? Until unless we have not adjusted, it will not comes to green. Similarly, the provisioning button will place a role. It has a update assignment button. We need to click on that. As soon as we just click on that, then it will be adjusted with the latest business role definition. Are you clear? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. It will. It will. I will. I'll let you know. The next point would be the same. Just a minute. So here it is clear, right? What is the importance of provisioning? Yeah, the provisioning consists of update a user assignments apart from nothing. Okay, how it will work? The update assignment, how the functionality will work means As soon as you click on this, automatically there is a one background job will initiate from GRC system to associated all the systems, and it will update the user records with remove with help of the RFC connect. GRC system and all the backend systems are integrated with RFC connections, and it has a user, right, for provisioning assignments and everything. As soon as we click on the update assignments, automatically there is a background job will run. That background job will check the latest definition of the business rule. In case the definition has doesn't uh, exist this particular role, automatically it will remove the this role from the all the users. Suppose this role was assigned to 5 members. All the 5 members, this role will be removed through background job. No need to submit the GRC request. It will fail. No, job should fail. Then we need to rerun. We need to rerun. Yes, the job. It cannot create request. It will perform background job. Yes. Hmm, 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 hmm. It is partially provision. You will get partially provision. But no. It cannot be. It cannot be. We need to resubmit the request. It is just partially provisioned. Three systems it is provisioned, and it will not provision one system. But request is finally you will get error, and you will get the message like partially provisioned request partially. Yes, definitely, it is causing inconsistency. Okay, you understand the functionality, right? Update assignment. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. No. It will check all the connectors. See, it has associated multiple systems, right? The system doesn't know. We know the role was removed, but system doesn't know, right? System will enable, and it will take action in case of any changes. Suppose there is a new connector is introduced, new system or new role is associated, then it will initiate the request. It is not at all possible. Okay. Okay. So to get the update assignment and trigger the background job, you need to configure, enable one of the configuration which is suggested by SAP. So you have to go to SE54. You have to check the stable view, and this particular entry is exist or not. Once this is exist, then you have to check the process. You have to map this class, background job class. Then only that functionality will work. This is also one of the configuration step apart from the provisioning. You need to do this configuration step. But one minute. You need to go to SE54, but I'm facing one issue. So it is saying that in the latest version, ideally it will not show. Even yesterday I have checked one of the system. This is SE54 T code. SE54. This is the table view display. Ideally it should display the complete entries. Okay, like this. It should entries. Then one of the class is grc brlp. This entry should be there. If this entry is not exist, we will ask we will ask developer to create this entry and map this standard class, background job class to this entry. Then only this enable provisioning button functionality will work. Ideally, the provisioning step and this background job step should be activated manually with help of developer, this step, because this is the additional configuration step if we want to configure business roles. Yeah, this is the background job class. This is the background job. Basically we need to map background job above class here for this entry. Yes, first. Oh, sorry. Yeah, SE54. Ideally the table view should be open. So one of my friend GRC12 was working on that. I've suggested him. He said it is not the functionality is not working. He has submitted SAP incident. I don't know. Recently, this GRC10 systems you will get directly because it has so many entries. Why this functionality is not working in GRC12? Whether it is automatically mapped or not sure. But I requested him to test in the system. I cannot test here because our workflow is not working. So we are working on that workflow. Why this system has issue? We're working on that because I cannot directly map the users. That is one of the problem for the business too. Yes, in case business roles, in case any changes or add or deletions, you must run this. Otherwise, the data should be inconsistent. I'll come to that. How to check. So this configuration also one of the prerequisites for business role. Good. So I'll let you know next class because one of my friend is working. So he has parallelly submitted SAP incident and his system workflow is working. So he has prepared file and imported and he will submit the request. I asked him to submit the request because until unless we will not provision at least one user, this will not enable provisioning button, the update assignment. If we imported business role and we have not assigned to anyone, this button will not enable. Only if we assign to one user or provision to one user, then only this button will be enabled to check the functionality. So that is the reason I asked him to check the functionality. I'll let you know the results. There's a 10 version, the data dictionary, it is available. With the help of developer, we will update the table entry, but still it is issue. Okay, this step is I'll confirm. So to import the roles, yeah, basically the same. So business role name. So since it is a GRC, we will define the task-based role like a security consultant, OTC consultant, or clerk, anything. So we will prepare the role name, appropriate naming convention. It should be business, BUS, the standard name. Then rest of the description is same. Business process, sub process, project release, PRD, then role owner information. Ideally, column X for composite roles, we will just maintain associated roles. But for a business roles, we must maintain associated landscape. Which landscape this role belongs? Got it? Suppose this business role, SAP R3LG, business role, probably portal. So we need to maintain the connector group name for all the associated roles. And we don't require system information. Yes, yes, that's what. If suppose the same ECC role, suppose right now we have a three systems are mapped to same connector group, right? In case of any GRC role, then same connector group name we will maintain. There is no problem with that. But ideally, we need to map. We just mention what is the associated role name, what is the connector group name. It can also be called as landscape name. This is the only difference for. Yeah, that definition generally companies they will prefer composite role, but ideally we can map derived roles, single roles, anything. There is no issue. Privilege name, privilege name. Yeah, and you should maintain an HDB, HANA connector name here. So uh, mhm. Yes. Mhm. Okay. So during the role imports, if you observe the landscape, okay, while submitting the system, we are selecting which system we are going to import. Okay, SAP R3. Okay, now the source system would be I just selected S4. Now in your question, probably the role would be different, but SAP R3 LG only, right? So I may import for G12. Both roles has SAP R3 LG. So I can maintain same landscape name Z comp 1. Yes, yes, which landscape? Yeah, So in the landscape, we will select on which system we were imported. Here we are just mention this landscape, this particular role name. Okay. So only this is the difference. But during the role imports, business role is a system independent. All the fields automatically disabled. File on desktop, application is business role, landscape is business role. You might observe pro there is a business role in the connector group name. Business. So business, you don't really require to map the systems. Business, business, business. Connector group name you can select and you can map the systems. There is no issue. But even you don't map any systems, you are defining the systems on which landscape this belongs to. That information is fine for business role. That is a default connector group which is suggested by SAP. Okay. Even you can create business underscore landscape. That is your business role for custom. No harm. Just you need to select the definition in case you have created. But right now we are selecting business role and I am selecting standard connection type. Business and business. As soon as you select the business role, you don't get any much options here. Similar. In the rest of the other process, only the first screen would change. Rest of the other, you can use the same process. But file should be prepared like this. Only associated landscape name should be maintained. Yes, because finally you are using business role, right? Yeah, security of business owner only, right? Irrespective of landscape. No issue. For OTC, see, SRM, purchase requisition and purchase order, probably based on the company, right? See, the company OTC process has only one owner. Business role should has company value, like US. The irrespective, they don't bother. Finally, yes, it won't take for composite and single. Also, for a business role concept or composite role concept, if you are using the technical roles, like a user may get confused in the search selection, right? In the search, user will select request, right? So here I've selected there are so many single role types. Okay. So since my definition is composite role, to default roles, all the single roles are of the composite roles, we will make it as dev role status. Then whatever the dev status roles, those roles will not be available for cup selection. This strategy companies will follow, because even though our role concept is business role, so now if you observe, user has to come, might be here, and he needs to select this role. Suppose so, he needs, or he can give, suppose Jed, some role name SIN. I'm just giving. So he got confused which role he needs to select. See, this is not appropriate naming convention, but so to avoid these confusions, generally companies will follow dev status. Suppose my concept is a composite role provisioning, single and derived except default roles. Everything should be dev status so that it won't be visible for user selection. Also, they will go with flexible composite role selection for provisioning, right? If my concept is business role, then only I will maintain business role as PRD, and whatever the single roles, composite roles, derived roles, I will make it dev status so that it won't be available for provisioning for user selection. Mhm. No matter, no matter, no matter, no matter for that. See, finally, I'll let you know. See, if it is a business role, role type, okay, business role. One business role I have imported. What is it? Why business? Not important. See, whatever the owner which is maintained, then ideally that owner only will be adjust. Oh, I have not imported this business. That this particular owner will be only approval. It will go for approval. Everything, whatever the associate. No issues, no issues, no issues. Business role only. Whatever the highest role we can say. Whatever the highest role. A business or composer. So that role only. So business role, okay. So user request. I think I have not imported. I have just created one role for um, enable provisioning button, because I keep it for to show the. Yeah, that's what I have imported. I just created one dummy role uh, in access management to check the enable provisioning button to show that I need one role, right? So I just created dummy role. I just know I have provisioned. You have not seen? I have imported this role. Okay, okay. Yeah, yeah. I will do that. I will do. No issue. Okay. So this business role, if you observe, system always empty. Okay, and the provisioning environment always all. Don't change. Try to change development, production, or testing. You will get an error. Suppose the associated connectors might be some requirement. So the associated landscapes might be production and non-production as well, because we are provisioning from jersey production to non-production as well. So that time might be non-production role should also be there. So we assume that probably this business role only for production. Then you will get an error. It cannot be provision. You will get, I don't remember the name, but the environment related to environment, one error will get provisioning failure. So provisioning environment is always all for business role. Why I'm showing this error? Generally, end users doesn't know. As soon as for a composite role, you may observe that the status is a production test or anything. So they assume that they need access not all environments production system. So they submit the request and it will all provision completed. Then while assigning, it will throw error. The environment is not compatible or something in the audit log. Then on a troubleshooting perspective, you need to make sure that the provisioning environment should be all and it should not be a particular system. Okay. For your purpose, one. Which one? So this is like assign or remove. This is as of now request is not submitted, right? This is not processed. Okay. So this is a GRC system. For your purpose. Okay. Oh, I need to import these roles, right? These roles in the bucket. Okay. I assume that at least few roles are adjust in. Okay, 1 minute. Let me. So these two are not required. Role status. BRB. Okay, right now I'm importing L2 GRC system with the same connector code. I assume that everything is single. Input, technical boards, mapping system, GRC, so 12 are imported, 6 are not imported. There are some roles are adjusted. So you can check error. Yeah, 6 roles are adjusted. I have not override, but 12 roles are imported. I think we have prepared the business file. So everything with the landscape. Okay. Methodology status. Now this first role is S4 HANA. Rest of the other roles are GRC, but we will maintain the landscape. So since we have opened any one of the roles, it will not properly indicate. So I'm closing all the sessions. Role import, business, business, business. Role, next, second, so success. Maintenance, associated. You will see the complete roles list. You can check the next update assignment would be disabled. We will not assign to any one of the user. So any questions? I want to complete such completed enable provisioning button. This is like in case of any user, then we just click on the enable update assignment. Automatically these two users, the background job ID will be initiated and it complete in case of any changes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, then we can change the status to dev, which are not required. Which are not required. See, suppose I just imported. I just imported these roles. No, 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 no. Even we can update. We can update using yesterday. Japindra asked one question. So how to update the owners? So in case we have a list, then okay, G business role suppose. Search. Then we go to next. In case we are changing what attributes we want to change. Owners, if it is update, delete, add. Similarly, anything it will ask for project release, update. So I want to change. The problem is it will ask for the old values. Open one section, but it is sequence one. Yes. So this is actually old value is bench. So we want to change any new value project release. We can change, but we will use the role update option. We can change, but we need to make sure that what is the old value. like this we will change update evaluation. Update role does not meet the selection criteria. Jet bus role. Code form. This is bus. Jet bus role is this one. So like this we will update whatever the owners, any owners are any control, sorry, any role owners or alternate role owners or any project release. This is like a task for any role update. This is one option. If not, then we will use a role import if we are able to prepare. Suppose there are 500 roles. 500 roles. Some of them are project release. Some of them are owner update. Some of them are might be business process change. So we need to select the old business process, new business process for the list of roles. You need to select them. Instead of that, I file would be the best option. If it is only one entry, whatever the role owner A, you need to change owner to role owner B. Then you can submit role owner B. Mhm, mhm. That's what I'm saying. You can change the status. You can change the status to dev. Automatically, the rest of the other roles it won't be visible. Roles which are not required, which are not required. No, no, not project level. This column H role status. That yeah, that is only few roles. So you can do that if it is very small changes, then you can do that. We need to select the particular role. There is no other option. That's what I'm saying. The role attribute, not the role particular attributes. If you want to change one role owner to another role owner, that is your request. Then role update will be very simple option. If it is 500 roles as a different combination change, then I would prefer file would be the best option. Role re-import, one time shot. Otherwise, we need to select that the same task will need to be repeat multiple times using the role of data. Sorry, can you repeat your question, please? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Huh. That's what now. If you, in case any update, mass update, then you need to select the role. So that will be a problem. No? Instead of better, we can go for the role import. No, 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 no. No. We cannot do that. No, no, no. Only role status would be the same. See, the role status production, then only role will be visible. If the role status is dev, then it won't be visible. Mm. No, no. Mm-hmm. 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 Yes, yes. That is depends. If it is existing role, then we don't require that. Yeah, but if it is new roles, yes, we need to make it dev. And if the company is following composite role, that is the highest. Then derived and single roles are dev status. If company is using composite, no, sorry, business role, then composite, derived and single roles will be the dev status. Yes, whatever the highest role, that keep it as production, except default roles also excluded. And the rest of the other least roles, we need to make sure dev status. Okay. Yeah. Then probably we need a couple of things that probably 1 hour session will continue, because there are some best practices if we are implementing a business tool. So it may take time. So better will yeah, I thought yeah, yeah. The concept is very simple, but it is completely logical.